Hi everyone, so it's the 2nd of December and I'm here to do my November wrap up and my December TBR video. So I had planned on filming this earlier on today, but I got called into work unexpectedly because one of my colleagues was ill, so it's 5:45 and I'm finally getting around to filming this because I got in at 5 o'clock and I kind of just want to go to sleep, but I need to get this video done because if I don't do it today I'll probably get even lazier and not bother doing it, so I'm forcing myself to do it today so that I actually get it done. So November was actually a pretty good reading month for me. I managed to read 20 books and I'm really happy with that because I was working and doing a lot of other stuff and I didn't actually think that I would manage to read as many books as I did, so I'm really pleased that I managed to read 20. So let's get on to the books that I read in November. The first book I read in November was These Broken Stars by Amie Kaufman and Megan Spooner. This was just such an amazing book and I'm so happy I managed to get an e-arc copy from NetGalley. It was just such an amazing story and I ended up giving it a 5 out of 5 stars. And then I read Pawn by Amy Carter. I was really looking forward to this one as well and it lives up to what I thought it would. It was really interesting, full of twists and surprises, and I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5 stars. And then I read Hidden Wings by Cameo Renae. This one, unfortunately, I didn't enjoy at all. I just couldn't connect to the story whatsoever and I ended up giving it a 1 out of 5 stars. And then I read Wedding Night by Sophie Kinsellla. I absolutely adored this book. I'm really loving Sophie Kinsella's books now and I can't wait to read more of hers. This one had me laughing and I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. And then I read Ink by Amanda Sun. This one was sort of like average for me. It wasn't amazing, parts of it were confusing and I didn't understand what was going on, but it was interesting enough to make me want to know what happens next. So I ended up giving this one a 3 out of 5 stars. And then I read Boy Meets Boy by David Levithan. This was just such a sweet and adorable story and I'm really looking forward to reading more of David Levithan's books now after that one, and I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5 stars. And then I read Mechanical by Pauline C. Harris. Pauline actually contacted me and sent me a review copy of this book a couple of months ago and I finally got around to it. I gave this one a 2 out of 5 stars. It wasn't that I didn't enjoy it, I just didn't connect with the characters and I didn't like the characters, so that kind of ruined my enjoyment of the story, although the story was interesting, but I just didn't like the characters. And then I read books 2 to 6 in the Vampire Academy series, which were Frostbite, Shadow Kiss, Blood's Promise, Spiritbound and Last Sacrifice. I gave all 5 of these books 5 out of 5 stars because I freaking loved them and I'm kicking myself for not picking up the Vampire Academy series sooner because that series took me on a roller coaster of emotions. I was crying, laughing, I went through every emotion possible with this series and I just loved it. And then I read Impostor by Susanne Winnacker. I got a review copy of this from NetGalley and I was super excited because I've been waiting for this book for so long and I was dying to read it. So I just started reading it as soon as I got it from NetGalley and it was pretty awesome actually. I am so super excited for the next one now because that first one was just brilliant and I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. And then I read Witchfinder by Ruth Warburton. This one was an okay read for me. Parts of the story were slow and slightly confusing, but it was enjoyable and I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. And then I read Red by Alison Cherry. This one was just completely ridiculous. There was parts I did enjoy though, but most of the time I just honestly couldn't believe half the stuff that was happening in this book. It was the characters were so vain and I just didn't enjoy that, so I gave it a 2 out of 5 stars. And then I read The Promise of Amazing by Constantine. This is just a really cute and sweet contemporary novel, but there were some darker sides to the characters which I really enjoyed, so I ended up giving this one a 4 out of 5 stars. And then I read Awaken by Meg Cabot. This is the third and last book in the Abandoned trilogy. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars, mainly because I didn't remember what happens in the first 2 books and I couldn't be bothered rereading them, and also because I kind of lost interest in the romance, and that's pretty main focus in this series. So yeah, it got a 3 out of 5 stars. And then I read Fall of Nights by Rachel Caine, which is book 14 in the Morganville Vampire series, and holy crap was that such an amazing book. Oh, it's probably my favourite for quite some time in the Morganville series, and I just really loved how it was like a new setting, and yeah, everything about it was amazing, so I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. And then I read Defy by Sara B. Larson. I got this one from NetGalley as well. It was on as Read Now, so I was so super excited when I found it was on there because I have been dying to read this book. So as soon as it arrived on my Kindle, I just started reading it because I couldn't hold off, and it was actually a pretty amazing fantasy book. There is a lot of focus on the romance, but I don't really mind that because there was a lot of fighting and a lot of other stuff which was really enjoyable. So yeah, I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars. And then the last book I read in November was The Woken Gods by Gwenda. I started off really enjoying this one, but as it got on in the book I started to get really bored and lose interest, and I kind of got confused and forgot what was happening and what half the characters were doing, so I ended up giving it 2 out of 5 stars. So in November I had 2 favourite books. The first one was These Broken Stars by Amie Kaufman and Megan Spooner, because it was just hands down fantastic and I loved everything about it. And my second favourite for November was Last Sacrifice by Richelle Mead, which is the last book in the Vampire Academy series, because I just thought it was such an amazing end to the series and I loved it. My favourite book in the series, hands down. So now on to the books that I plan to read in December. So first of all, I'm going to be finishing Codename Verity. I'm about 147 pages through it just now and I'm really enjoying it, so I'm hoping that I'll be able to get through this in the next couple of days. And then I want to read This Song Will Save Your Life by Layla Sales, because I've heard so many good things about it that I just want to pick it up right now. I have the same reason for wanting to read Tiger Lily by Josie Lynn Anderson, because everyone says it's amazing and I want to read its amazingness, and I just want to be part of the fangirling over this book because it sounds amazing. And then I'm planning to read the Bloodline series by Richelle Mead, which is Bloodlines, The Golden Lily, and The Indigo Spell. The Fiery Heart is on its way to me from the library, so I will probably be reading that one as well if it turns up. I'm also planning on reading Falling Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes, because I've had this out for the library for ages and I just keep renewing it and I haven't gotten around to it yet, so I need to. I also want to read How I Live Now by Meg Cabot, because I really want to see the movie and I just haven't gotten around to reading the book yet, and I've had it for ages, so I'm definitely going to get around to it this month because I really want to see the movie. I also want to read The Art of Wishing, The Archived, and Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea. I know I only got these 3 last month, but I've been wanting to read them for so long that I just can't wait any longer. And then I have a couple of review books that I need to read this month as well. The first one is The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. I've been wanting to read this one for ages and I got a copy from NetGalley, and the movie comes out next month in the UK, I believe, so I need to get the book read so that I can see the movie. And I also need to read A Little Too Much by Lisa Desrochers. I got a copy from Edelweiss and it came out last month and I didn't get around to reading it last month, so I need to get it read this month. I also need to read No One Else Can Have You by Kathleen Hale. This comes out this month and I didn't have time to get to it last month, so again I need to read this one this month. I also need to read A Breath of Frost by Alexandra Harvey. This comes out at the start of January, so I need to get it read before it comes out. And I also need to read Before We Met by Lucy Whitehouse, because it also comes out at the start of January. So there we go, that's all the books that I plan on reading in December. So that was my November wrap up and my December TBR. Let me know in the comments if you guys have done a TBR/wrap up video, and I will go and watch it. Also let me know if you guys have read any of the books that I'm planning on reading in December, and let me know what you think of them. So thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys later. Bye everyone.